Welcome to GlowNatural, the podcast about living naturally, experiencing fully, and radiating your brilliance into the world. I'm your host, Lisa Jendza, and I love sharing with you deep and meaningful conversations with all of my guests. Today I have Rene Brent, a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a #1 international best-selling author who wrote the book, How Big Is Your Butt?, an international speaker, and a faculty member for the Institute of Interpersonal Hypnotherapy. Rene's been an RN for over 25 years. She's worked in ICU, trauma, ER, and the recovery room. She helps her clients use the power of the deep inner mind to release blocks and reach personal and professional goals. She's passionate about teaching people how to practice happy and becoming a happiness hunter. And I am so excited to have this conversation today. Welcome, Rene.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm so excited to be here.
There are so many things that I want to talk to you about. So let's start with, how big is your butt? I just love the name of your book.
Thank you. I like a little play on words. I don't take any of this work too seriously. If you can't laugh at it, then it's very hard to look at. So the butt is the B-U-T, 1 T, and when I started my practice, I understood very quickly that people wanted change, but they would always say, I want a new job, I want a new career, I want to lose weight, but B-U-T. And anything that they said after that, I understood was a subconscious block. This is what was blocking them from creating what they wanted. And unless you know how to get to the subconscious mind, which is 95% of what we manage in our day, what manages us on autopilot, so to speak, then you're not in charge. You're in a passenger seat. So I wrote the book, How Big Is Your Butt? And because I want people to understand the power of going into the subconscious mind, that it's not as scary as you think, and there's real change that can happen there. You can reach your goals and just practice that state of happy.
I love that. In all my years of owning my spa and talking with women, I heard a lot of buts. But you don't understand, Lisa. This is all I know, or this is all I've done, or this is what my family expects. And I can honestly say in my own life, too, I have many, many buts. Abraham Hicks' work would talk about that being split energy, right? Wanting something, but then doubting it. Or, putting your energy into basically the reverse effect of what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So is this something that you work on?
Yeah.
Is this something you work on with hypnotherapy?
Absolutely. So the split effect is actually, we all have what I call higher self, higher perspective. So if we're in conflict about something, it's actually a really good thing, because there is a part of you in that subconscious mind who knows you're absolutely capable of doing it. This is your higher self. This is you at your higher perspective. And through life and through experiences and, echoes that we hear from our past, we stop listening to our higher self. We start listening to us at our full potential. And so the split effect, the conflict comes from when the false beliefs are showing up and are in charge, and the higher self is really still trying to get our attention. So that's what I consider a split effect energy that's being moved from one. The angel and the devil on the shoulders, the old, description, is actually your higher perspective of your subconscious mind arguing with your false beliefs that are echo from your childhood. So in hypnotherapy, we can't outthink this stuff. We have to drop into an altered brainwave and really find out our truth and connect to that higher perspective. Hypnosis doesn't put you to sleep. It actually wakes you up for your truth. And when you're in a state like that, you can really listen and hear and start to get into that driver's seat again.
Nice. So we had talked earlier about the law of reverse effect, which you've seen in people when they're trying too hard, which I can also relate to.
Yes. So the law of reverse effect is very interesting. The harder we try consciously to find a solution, to make changes, to sleep, to remember a name of an actor, right? When you try too hard consciously to do that, what happens to the subconscious mind? What happens when you're trying to remember a name, Lisa, and you just try, and it just is not there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we just spin those cycles in our brain trying to figure it out.
Exactly. On the tip of my tongue means, really, that your subconscious mind just left the building, right? And it's not going to help you. So when we stop trying so hard to sleep, to create, to find a solution, what happens to the name of that you were trying to figure out? What happens when you stop trying so hard?
Yeah, then it just shows up.
Yes, it just shows up. And then you have the awareness. So this is the law of reverse effect. When we start trying so hard, it gets farther away. And we always need our subconscious mind in the room with us. We need to connect. And when we learn to do that, life gets a lot easier. Then you'll find the solutions. Then you'll be more energetic and more relaxed and creative to find solutions that you want. And then you'll start seeing these things start showing up for you. So I talked about higher self already and the sleep and, trying so hard to sleep. And these are two issues that I get with my clients. So I want to make sure at the end of this that I send people to a website to get some free meditations for sleep and to connect to higher self. So let's remember to do that at the end for sure.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, I was going to ask for some tools that people could use. So what are the most common complaints or issues that you hear from your clients?
Well, that's interesting because the symptom can show up in any way. It can show up as overeating. It can show up as anger. It could show up as I'm just stuck, frozen, I'm not happy. It can show up in maladaptive behaviors, not finding the right partner in your life, these kind of things. When people just know something's wrong, this is a symptom. And so I tend to specialize with people with anxiety and addiction. I run a 4-day addiction release program and to help people get to cause of addictive behaviors. But it's just a symptom. What's really happening, and when people can understand what's really going on in anything that you showing up in your life, even a physical illness. I deal with people with physical issues like unexplained back pain, chronic headaches that no one can explain, IBS, colitis. These are the way that your subconscious mind is communicating you through your body. So I also deal with that. To manage all of that, those symptoms, you must get to emotions and beliefs. You must get to the subconscious mind. Because how we feel about an issue in our life is usually what started it in the first place from very young. So we have events and beliefs in our lives that lead to and relationships that lead to beliefs. Beliefs lead to emotions, and emotions lead to symptoms. So in order to make real changes, consistent, long-lasting changes, you must get to the subconscious mind to shift beliefs and emotions.
Wow. There are so many people that I want to share this interview with, and even just talking with you earlier, I know that there's a lot of people who can benefit from this conversation. My daughter's in college for getting her master's degree in substance abuse and wants to help people with addictions. Yeah. And I know that she's going to be very fascinated to hear what you're doing as well, because it's something she's very passionate about. Now, you're writing another book that I know I'm going to be buying for everybody in my family.
I have yet to tell anybody about this book, and they say, I have people who need to read that book.
Well, I want the first issues that are printed.
I will, yes. I will send it to you, Lisa, I promise you. So the book is called What Has Worry Done for You Lately? So I really like a fun, word challenge. And if we just ask everyone who's listening to this, what has worry done for you lately? And it doesn't do anything for you. It steals from you. And I'm writing this book because I found in the last year and a half since I wrote my first book that people worry. Everybody worries, especially the state of the country right now in transition. People worry. And worry just steals from you. And the mind doesn't know the difference between real or imagined, Lisa. So everything you're worrying about, your just body and mind are reacting like it's already happened. And I used to do this. I would cry because I would think of something horrible happening to my child. And I would even get to where I'm like at the funeral. It's ridiculous. I would cry like it happened. And then I would just woke up from that fog and I'm like, what am I doing? All that energy that's going out in front of me is energy that I could have in my life right now to just feel happy or just to find solutions for real problems. I say worry and fear are a waste of imagination. You know, people aren't worrying and create scenarios of fantastic things happening to them. Their worry is negative. So if you're going to spend all that energy creating this in your mind, all right, and your mind doesn't know the difference between real or imagined, why not just imagine fantastic, amazing things happening to you? And if you can't do that, then just pull back and stay in the moment. Just stay in the moment and pull yourself away from that and break the habit of worry.
Yeah, I would say that my whole family has an addiction to worrying, and I remember hearing Eckhart Tolle talk about the pain body and how you can unite. People feel connected or they bond over the pain body, and I think that's my family. My family will say, oh, did you hear? Or, oh, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Or I'm worried about. And it's habitual, but it's like an addiction.
Well, it is, and this is the thing. I tell people in my addiction work, you know, or in anything that I write about addiction and the symptom of addiction is the answer is not sobriety. The answer is really connection to love, to commonality, and hope. And when we're trying to connect, let's say your family and they're trying to connect in the state of worry, you're just trying to find a commonality and connection, right? You know, you hear people who, if the only thing they have to talk about their dad is sports, that's what they're going to do. They're going to talk about sports because you want to feel that connection, and that's essential as a human being. But the thing about worry and negative thought patterns is that every thought we have is expressed chemically in our body as a human being. And then we get this kind of surge, or we get this aha, or this enlightenment in the state of worry, and then it's translated in our body, and then we have other states of worry or negativity, and that starts spinning. And those chemicals of negative thinking and worry are very addicting, and they don't last very long. So then we have to recreate it. So we have another thought of worry. And you probably know people in your life, Lisa, and the listeners probably can point out a few of these themselves. Maybe it's them, that when things start getting quiet in their life or things going really well, then they start creating chaos, or they start thinking negatively, or they mistrust what's really happening for them, and they start the thought process again. It's a chemical reaction.
Wow. And I bet people don't realize that. You know, I do know people, and I already told you my family is chronic worriers, but that tend to create chaos, especially when things seem to be going really well. Then there's always something that happens that takes them back into a state of chaos. Yep.
And they're fighting against chemistry, and they're also fighting against neurons. So something called neuroplasticity is incredible research going on that's really proving what I do from the science basis of the work that I do for people in the subconscious mind. But we're meant to survive. Everything about us is meant to survive, Lisa. So any negative thing that happens to us or we experience, we have to be aware of it. It's in the front of the queue. And because we had to remember when we were, our ancestors, what a cave bear looked like and smelled like and felt like for survival. Well, we do that. So anything that looks like danger, we have put that in the front. Now our neurons in our brain are scanning for it all the time, and we're training the neuron clusters in our brain. This is how we act. And we have this pathway, this neural pathway that goes on autopilot for people, and of negativity or worry or whatever it is. So when people are in autopilot, they feel like their mind and body have been hijacked. This is the basis of a lot of the anxiety work that I do. Neuroplasticity shows if you learn pattern interrupts, if you learn ways to get to the subconscious mind and start shifting that neuron pattern to another way of thinking, you do that consistently, you can literally change the neurons in your brain and your behavior in about 4 weeks.
Wow, really?
Yes. Neuroplasticity, it's incredible. So we used to think once we had a personality trait, once it was the way it was, that's it. No, you just have to learn your cues that your body's giving you, your mind's giving you, because our subconscious is translating in our body all the time. there's something called the felt sense. So when we're moving into that feeling of worry or anxiety or chaos, a lot of people feel it in their body. Now, when you're feeling worried or anxious or fearful or negative, where do you feel that in your body, Lisa?
Well, I definitely feel anxiety like up my spine, between my shoulder blades, and then eventually the back of my neck.
Okay. That's
but I
great.
would say that I have a lot of gastrointestinal discomfort, though, too. So I've always had difficulty with digestion, so I carry a lot of emotions in my gut. Okay.
Yeah, that's why. So there's something called felt sense. It's feeling the sensation of emotion, energy, and motion. The body, the physical body, is the GPS for the subconscious mind. And whenever we feel that feeling in our stomach or the feeling in your shoulders, or some people feel it in their chest, it's your subconscious mind giving you a cue. Hey, something's going on, something's happening. But we ignore it. But the felt sense is crucial to be able to pay attention to, because it is warning you. And if you learn the warning signs, then you can start shifting behavior before you're on autopilot. Now you can go to a different way of thinking, a pause and a different way of thinking, and it's easier to retrain your brain, to retrain your neurons.
Wow, I mean, I've been doing personal development work for like 10 years. So then I hear you say 4 weeks, and I think, really? 4 weeks? It's taken me like 10 years to get to where I'm at.
Well, it's just paying attention to the cues. We sometimes try it hard consciously, and if anybody pulls anything out of what they hear today, is that it's very, very important to get out of what I call the beta wave, the high beta wave, the stress wave, brain wave, the very human wave, to get out of that once or twice a day and drop into an alpha or a theta brain wave, which is light meditation or hypnosis. Because this is where we find our answers, and this is when your subconscious mind says, hey, you're listening to me, you're connecting to your subconscious mind, your truth. And when you do that, then the change starts happening. But if we have to filter everything through our analytical mind, it takes a long time, because we have to hit up against the conscious mind and the objections and the analyzing. And if we're lucky, a few drops of it will get into our subconscious. So it's very important to open up your subconscious and go right to the boss. The subconscious mind's the boss, and that's how you make change. So get to the boss. Drop into that altered brainwave on a regular basis.
Right, which you nailed me. I'm a left brain analytical engineer. Mm-hmm. So even walking away from that IT career, I didn't necessarily walk away from the left brain analytical personality that I am. So as much as I thought I understood law of attraction or any of these concepts, I was really only understanding it as a concept and not necessarily understanding how to embody it or employ it or become it.
Right, and this is what we're taught, right? We're always trying to be safe, so it feels safer to analyze it and to look at it from this different perspective. But we really have to get very comfortable dropping in to what our truth is. I tell people I'm a professional garage door opener because many of us have that garage, our subconscious mind, we do not want to go into. We don't know what's in there. It's scary. It's dark. It's got stuff from your childhood. Who's going in there, right? That's scary. So what I do is help people understand the power of going into the garage, the subconscious mind. I'll hold the flashlight or do the work to help people, and you get to decide what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. And when you do that, when you clear and organize it and gain awareness what's hiding in the corner, then life gets a lot easier. And now you could just pull in your car, and it feels really, really good. So I want to encourage everybody just to really trust that you can go in, because that's where your answers are. That's where your goal lives. That's where your happiness, true happiness in the heart is. So, do yourself a favor and learn a way or an ability to drop into that garage, so to speak.
Yeah, so I love how you say you teach people how to practice happy. Mm-hmm. And you use the term happiness hunter. Mm-hmm. How do you help people do that?
So let's start with Happiness Hunter. I said earlier, we scan for the negative. We scan for the negative, and that's not, you're hunting for negativity, and you're neurologically imprinting that into your mind as a personality trait. So happiness hunting is now scanning for it may just be that you woke up that morning, right? It may be that, your left hip used to hurt, but now, it's just your right calf. Whatever it is, there's always something that we can look at that we've learned from, or that is improvement. We can always look at something. And, I live in Florida. I'm in Orlando, and in the afternoon, and if you've ever been in Florida in the summertime in the afternoon, there's always a dark cloud coming in. So you can spend your afternoon looking at the dark cloud and how ominous it is, or you can just turn your head and look at the sunshine and the sky and enjoy your day. So we choose which part of the sky we look at every single day. So happiness hunting is really just doing that. Happiness is not going to come and sit in your lap. You have to look for it. You have to actively go and find it. And it could be just right around the corner. But if you're stuck in your old behavior and your old way of being, and you're just recreating that every day, you're not going to find it. So, and neurologically we talked about, we train our brain a certain way. So when you start doing this happiness hunting, you're neurologically setting yourself up to practice happy and to be happier. And I see it every day with my clients. They're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just waking up and I'm feeling lighter and more energetic, and I'm just calmer and happier. And that's because you're paying attention to the science of your mind, you're paying attention to your heart and the subconscious mind that's been trying to get your attention every day, all day long. So just stop, pay attention to what's going on for you, choose which part of the sky you look at, and you will be happier. I see it all the time.
What a great practice that is for everyone, to choose happiness, to look for happiness. Now, you mentioned meditation, and I remember talking to clients when I first started meditating. For me, I was wound so tight that to sit for 1 minute was an accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And to this day, it's still, I find many, many reasons not to have the time and not to practice meditation consistently. But I know that when I do, everything goes more smoothly. So what recommendation do you have for people who find it difficult to meditate, don't have the time to meditate?
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because this is a big part of what I do. And people say I can't meditate. I mean, I do longer meditations. The meditations on my website, practicehappynow.com, those are a little longer. They're about 22 minutes. But you're right. We are stressed human beings. We have a lot going on, especially as women. Men are stressed out too. Many of the men in my practice are really stressed out. But women, we take on all of it. So your mind is not going to quiet. Only the monks have been living in a cage really just silence their mind and nothing comes in. We have things that come in, but it's just about welcoming it, saying hello, but right now we're doing something different. We don't fight against it, because the more you fight against the feeling or the agitation or the physical cramp that's showing up in your foot when you're trying to meditate, the more you fight with it, the bigger it gets. So just, it doesn't take much to go into an alpha brainwave. We're in it all the time when we're driving in the car, we're in the shower, when we're zoning out, when we're reading a book, when we're watching a movie. You've already put yourself into an alpha brainwave, which is just light hypnosis. We do it all the time. So it's not that hard to do. So just when you get into this state, just drop into it and trust what's coming up for you. And if a thought comes out, a distracting thought, just say, thank you for coming in, but we're just having quiet right now. Just like you would a toddler who's when you're on the phone talking to someone who comes in the room, a kid. My kids, I don't know about you, but my kids knew when I was on the phone. They would come in, and I would just say to them, I'm on the phone right now, and I'll get back to you within a minute. I love you, and then they go away. This is what happens with our thoughts and our physical reactions. When you start training your brain that you're taking that time for yourself, those interruptions will become less and less. And you'll have days, I have days now where I have a lot going on, and I'm a little bit lighter in my meditation. And meditations are like a wave. Sometimes you're deeper and sometimes you're lighter, and that is normal. So you can do longer meditations. You can do guided meditations. You can just sit in your chair for quiet time and count from 10 down to 1. And when you get to the number 1, your mind will be quiet. Or you can go, I recommend Headspace, which is a free app that has different, you can pick 5 minutes, you can pick 10 minutes. They have a beautiful one there for kids on Headspace. I have a client who just started meditating with his 4-year-old, and it's really helping her, and she loves it. And she's sleeping better, and she's eating better, and it's just amazing. So give yourself the opportunity to just take 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes.
So we've been talking to Rene Brent today, and you're definitely going to want to read her book, How Big Is Your Butt? Because I know many of you have butts that are getting in the way, your subconscious beliefs that are getting in the way of your desires, just as I know I've experienced as well. Rene, you also do Skype sessions. Is that correct?
I do. It works very well when I can see someone and we do the work, and we always have a discussion, and then we move into a protocol. And it's very powerful to go into the state of hypnosis and see what part's blocking us, see what memories from childhood perhaps. It's powerful stuff. And if someone doesn't want to do a Skype, they can contact me, and then I can help them find a hypnotherapist or what to look for in a hypnotherapist. It's very important to get someone who has at least 200 hours of training. It's not that difficult to learn how to put someone into hypnosis, but you definitely want someone who has really strong protocol to help you in recovery and to heal and to gain awareness. So anyone can contact me at renebrenthypnosis@icloud.com, and I'll answer any questions. And a lot of my readers contact me and let me know what they think about the book. And the book, each chapter in the book has a really practical technique for healing. I don't like to just talk. I really like to give practical techniques to people. So each chapter of the book has that as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you had also mentioned some free meditations. Where can the listeners go to find those?
Absolutely. You can go to practicehappynow.com, and that's where my book is. You can get a couple free chapters. Sign up for the email, and you'll get a confirmation email, and then you'll get a link to a couple free chapters of the book, a sleep meditation. If you're not sleeping, people, you absolutely have to. It's very hard to stay calm and to find your goals when you're not sleeping. We absolutely need to sleep. So there's a whole chapter on that. And the higher self meditation. Start listening to that perspective, that higher self that's trying to get your attention every day. If you're in conflict, no, it's because your higher self really wants you and knows that you have so much potential to be able to do that. And you can do it. Hold on to that hope.
Well, this has been fascinating. I love holding these conversations for my own benefit. It's very selfish of me, too, to want to talk to people like you, Rene, because you open my eyes to new practices and new knowledge. And I really hope that the listeners get as much out of it as I have, because this really brings me a lot of joy.
Well, thank you for being out there and doing what you're doing as well, Lisa. The world needs you.
Thank you. Thank you. So make sure you visit renebrenthypnosis.com. And thanks again, Rene. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye now, Lisa.